Yes, Elizabeth, good evening. How are you today? Hello, Elizabeth. Good evening. Yes. How are you? How are you, Elizabeth? It has been a while that you have not been attending. Eliz, how are you? Elizabeth, how are you? Hello. Elizabeth, are you there? Okay, I request you turn on your mic. Turn on your mic if it's working, because you have to participate in this session. If it's okay with you, is your mic okay? Okay, you said your mic has a problem. So in your absence, we introduced a topic to do with crop pests. In your own definition, could you define what a crop pest is? Yes, I know. Yes, big man. Hello? A crop pest? We looked at crop pests as living organisms which have potential to destroy our crops. And we talked about so many types of pests, such as the rats, birds, caterpillars, locusts, and grasshopper. And we categorized them into different categories, such as the biting and chewing. Yeah, because there are those pests which have ability to bite and chew, and then there are those which pierce and suck our crops. So after studying all of that in your absentia, we had to look at the ways of controlling these pests. If I may ask, where have you been studying agriculture during school time? Yes, Elizabeth. Were you studying agriculture during school time? I'm asking, were you studying agriculture during your school time? Was it part of the subjects you were taking? Okay, that is good then. Had you covered something to do with pests? So, hello, had you studied pests? Okay, it's okay. We shall have to get extra time to cover what you missed in the previous lessons. So basically, today in this session, we are going to sum up on pest control. How do we control these pests if they have attacked our gardens? Pest control aims at eliminating pests or keeping their numbers as low as possible. The main objectives of pest control include prevention of a pest from entering into a new area, let's say into your garden, where it has not been before. Okay, so you prevent their entry. And then the other point says, prevents the establishment of a new plant pest that has just come into an area despite the efforts to eliminate its entry. Okay. Okay. Atiang Vitalis, you're welcome. So basically, we are looking at why should we eliminate these pests from our gardens. The last point says, to control and eradicate as far as possible those pests that are already existing or established in the area. If you have already pests in your garden, what happens? You have to control them, and you have to get different ways of controlling. Okay? And then when you are controlling, there are different terms we use in pest management. Where we talk about economic pest, this causes a recognizable damage of about 5 to 10%. How do you measure this? You go to your garden, you assess how much damage has been caused onto the crops. And then we have economic damage. The other one was economic pest. This one is economic damage. Damage done to crops by pests. That warrants artificial control. That calls for your efforts to control the pest. That type of damage is what we call economic damage. And then we have economic injury level. It is the lowest pest population that can cause economic damage. The total number of pests which can easily cause damage. And they vary in species, they vary from one species to another, depending on the following: the mode of feeding. There are those that bite and chew, and then there are those that pierce and suck. Also, the stage of the crop growth. Some crops are very prone to pests at the early stage of their growth. So they are easily affected. And then season of the year. some pests are more active during a wet season and then dormant during the dry season. Stage of pest growth. The larva stage is more dangerous compared to the adult stage in some species. And in some other species, it is the opposite. Part of the crop attacked matters a lot. If the leaves are attacked, it means that that type of pest needs to be controlled immediately. Okay, Shania, welcome. How are you, Shania? We are trying to do a recap of what we covered last time.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes.
We are trying to do a recap of what we covered last time with your friend Elizabeth.
Okay.
All right. So economic threshold, a pest population density at which crop control measures should start to prevent an increasing pest population. When you look at the total number of pests available in the garden, there is a certain level that needs you to come in and control or prevent their multiplication. And then we have the pest complex. It is where a crop is attacked by a pest and a disease at the same time, making the plant or the crop vulnerable. And then there are factors you should consider when choosing the mechanism of pest control. Pest population. How many pests do you have in the garden before you choose the method of controlling? If the population is high, you have to intervene in very fast. The reproductive rate of pests, if the reproduction rate is high, it means that you have to come in the shortest time possible to curb down the multiplication. Part of crop affected. Pests that attack vital parts of the crop, like the flowers, must be controlled immediately, because all of us know that a flower is the most reproductive part of the plant. Once the flowers are destroyed, there's no way we can get seeds, because seeds are formed from the ovules. But if they attack the branches, maybe we could take some time without controlling, because the branches are the less vital parts of the crop or plant. The feeding modes or habits of the pests, biting and chewing cause a lot of damage. Biting and chewing, we have examples of termites. The monkeys, they bite and chew and must be controlled immediately. Other factors to consider: the presence of predators. Once you have predators in your garden, you are happy, because the predators will help you to control the population of the pests. Than you using artificial control measures. Next, the weather conditions. Harsh weather may not favor pests. Hence, such conditions control may not be necessary. As we were discussing in the previous page, there are certain pests which don't survive during wet season. So when the wet season is continuous, that automatically means they are going to be eliminated. They cannot survive, and that will save your efforts of controlling the pest. Pest mobility. How does the pest move? Does it move very fast? If it is highly mobile, like those that fly, it means that you have to control it very fast, because it has potential to spread to the whole garden. presence of alternate plants. During control, alternate hosts must be eliminated. Alternate crops here or plants, we have the weeds. If you control your pest, you control pests by spraying your plants, these pests will run away from your garden, but they will go and hide inside the weeds. As for you spraying, they are hiding. When the chemical, the pesticide, its efforts have reduced, it has become less effective. They will come back and destroy your crops. So you have to destroy the alternate plants. The other point is the cost or benefit analysis. Control must not be more expensive in relation to the cost of produce. You cannot start buying fertilizer, buying pesticides for a crop that you are going to get less amount of money when you sell off. So you have to make sure that you use less amounts of money to purchase the pesticides, such that at the end of the day, when you are able to calculate between the output and the input, you are able to get a profit. Is everything clear on this page? And then precautions. Hello. Was the previous page clear? Elise and Shania. Okay. Elise, you are not following. Elizabeth, you are not following. Precautions taken to have a successful pest control. The key things you should put into consideration: should have good knowledge of the pest classification and behavior. You should be able to know the behavior of the pest you are controlling. Have the knowledge at the back of your mind. Make research about the pest you are going to control. And then the other point says, make good pest sampling techniques. As you are determining the total number of pests you have in the garden, you should use better techniques such that your control measure is effective. And then the other point says, the farmer should have good knowledge about the pest predators. Don't destroy the predators, because they help you to control the pests by eating them. If you have a store or a storage where you store your crops, and you have rats inside there, and you have a cat around, don't kill the cat, because the cat will help you to arrest and capture the rats around the store. And then the other point says, the farmer should know the type of food eaten by the pests. Know their favorite. What do they survive on? Such that you are able to eliminate such foods. And you starve the pests until when they die. The farmer should know the pest habitat. Where do they stay? Where do they hide? If they are termites like staying inside ant hills. Go and destroy the ant hills. That simply enables you to eliminate termites. The next point says, the farmer should know the stages of pest development. You should be able to know the life cycle of the pest in question, the pest you want to control. And when is it more dangerous? Is it more dangerous when it is an adult, or when it is still a nymph or a larvae? And then the other point says, consider economic damage of the pest. Does the pest cause economic damage, or much economic damage, or less? When you put that into consideration, you are able to choose the best pest control measure. And your control measure will be more successful. The last point says, control pests at a favorable weather condition. Don't go and start spraying using chemicals when it is raining, because the rainwater is going to dissolve the chemical and it becomes less effective. Is this page clear to everyone? Shania and Elizabeth? Elizabeth? Hello? Elizabeth, you are not following. Shania, is the page clear to you? Shania? Hello, members. Hello, members. Elizabeth and Shania, please, may you respond? Okay, Elizabeth, you are not in class with us. Better come back to class. Okay, so there are different methods of pest control. Here we have a chemical pest control, and this is the reduction or prevention of pest damage by use of chemicals to attract, repellent, or poison the pests. Classification of pesticides. These pesticides have classifications, and they are classified according to their mode of action. Shania, read for us the modes of action.
Stomach poison. That is to say, the insects cut it before they can be killed.
Okay.
Contact
poisons.
Contact poisons that kill the pest on contact. Fumigants. These are fumes in the air that kill the insects when they enter into it. Attractants. These attract insects to the point where they will be killed. Usually, sex hormones (pheromones) are used. Repellents.
Sorry for that. So, Shania, thank you. But Shania, we had covered all of this since now Elizabeth has left and I was trying to make recap for her. I guess we should just continue from where we had ended last time. Is it okay with you?
Yes.
Yeah, is it okay?
Yes. From the day that I met you. Where is agriculture?
Okay, did we stop here?
Do I even know? I know.
Okay. So I remember we covered this. We had stopped on caricature control measures here. So you read for us the caricature pest control measures after chemical.
These are good farming practices that also control pests and diseases. Culture control involves the manipulation of agricultural practices normally applied in the growing of crops to make environment less favorable for the pest. culture control methods are usually preventive and so need to be applied long before the pest appears. They are also indirect in that they are not applied directly to the pest. Good culture control requires a complete knowledge of the life cycle of the pest and a good knowledge of the habits and general ecology of the pest.
Thank you. So, cultural pest control, this involves the farming practices which are used to control the pests and diseases. And you manipulate agronomic practices. You don't put any chemical. Practices such as mulching, crop rotation, spacing, agroforestry, interplanting, okay, pruning, thinning. Those are the practices we are talking about when it comes to cultural pest control. How are they important? They are important in a way that they are able to destroy a life cycle of a pest. For example, if you practice crop rotation, it means that when you, okay, can you define what crop rotation is? Shania, what is crop rotation? Hello? Hello, Shania, what is crop rotation? Hello? What is crop rotation? Yes. Try to define crop rotation. In simple terms, crop rotation is the growing of different types of crops on the same piece of land, season after season. Meaning, when you plant today cassava, next time you don't plant cassava, plant maybe groundnuts or maize. It is important in a way that it enables elimination of pests, because the pests that attack cassava may not be the same pests which attack the maize. Okay, let's see what we have on the next page. Advantages of cultural pest control measures. It is continuous, making the method economical. You apply it once and then it continues, day in, day out. The other point says it is cheap compared with other methods such as chemical or physical. Chemical, some farmers don't have money to go and buy the chemicals, but they have the ability to do mulching, do crop rotation. Okay, Shania, you read the third one. Shania, you read,
Yes,
read the last three advantages of cultural pest control.
does not pollute the environment, cannot develop resistance in pests. The practices can improve soil properties like soil structure, fertility, etc.
Okay, good. Does not pollute the environment, because there's no way you can put in toxifying chemicals into the soil. You are using the very things which are common, which decompose, like the grass. You don't use polythene. Okay. The other point says, does not develop resistance in pests. There is no way a pest can be resistant to such methods. There's no way a pest can be resistant to such methods, because if you are doing weeding, you eliminate the alternate plants. There's no way a pest can hide. If you do crop rotation, a crop that would affect maybe maize may not be able to attack the plant you have planted. And then the last point says the practices can improve soil fertility, soil structure, and soil pH. Could you define what soil structure is? Shania? Hello?
Yes.
Define what soil structure is.
Soil structure is the
Yes, we are waiting for your definition. Yes, I can see Queen Elise, you also defined to us what is soil fertility. Queen, what is soil fertility as Shania defined soil structure? Hello? Shania, define what soil structure is. Yes, Queen, define to us what soil fertility is. So here, I know you are not able to recall too fast. Soil structure is the composition of soil particles to form clouds. Okay, and then soil fertility is the ability of the soil to sustain and to provide nutrients for plant growth, or ability of soil to support crop growth. Okay, is this page okay? We go to the next page. So the cultural methods of pest control and disease control include: the first one is manuring. Manuring simply means introduction of the waste products of animals, such as their cow dung, the urine. This improves the plant vigor and increases resistance to pests like nematodes. Are we following? Shania, are you following? And Elise? Elizabeth? Okay, great if you are following. And then the other, we have timely planting. As a cultural practice, this enables the plant to reach resistant stage before the pest population increases to levels that cause significant damage. The plant, when you plant the crops earlier, they will mature too fast. By the time the pest population increases, the plants will be able to withstand or resist pest attack. That is the beauty of planting in time, timely planting. And then the other is weed control. A weed is unwanted type of plant in the garden. And when we remove these weeds, we are able to remove the alternate hiding places for the pests. And hence, we are able to control pests in a cultural way. Are you able to see this picture here? These people are doing weeding and they are removing the weeds from the garden. Is this page okay to everyone? Hello? Is the page okay to everyone? Hello? Hello, members. Are you following or you are off? Hello? Are you following? Okay. So another way of controlling pests using cultural methods, Shania read for us the first 4 ways of controlling pests using cultural methods.
Proper pruning. It alters the microclimate that favors multiplication of pests. Crop rotation. This breaks the life cycle of pests and diseases. Rogging. This removes the source of infection and reduces the spread of pests and diseases. Use of trap crops. Crops are planted to attract the pests and diseases and then destroyed before maturity to destroy the pests and diseases with them.
All right, thank you. Pruning simply means you remove the branches, excess leaves. When you remove the excess leaves, you remove the alternate microclimate, the conducive environment for pests to multiply. So that's why we have to do pruning. And we control the pests in that way. Crop rotation, this breaks the life cycle of the pests and diseases. As I told you before that, crop rotation is the planting of different types of crops on the same piece of land, season after season. Season 1, when you plant your maize, next time plant cassava. There is no way a pest of maize can attack cassava plants. You have already broken their life cycle. But if you continue, season 1 maize, season 2 maize, you will just encourage their life cycle. Rogging. Rogging simply means removal of infected or diseased plants or the most affected plants from the garden. You uproot them and burn them. By doing that, you have controlled the pests. And then the other is use of trap crops. You plant crops when you get a site where you're going to plant your crops. Don't plant the main crop first. First plant the trap crops. If you are going to plant millet, first plant their sorghum, such that when the pests come, they will come and destroy all the sorghum which you have planted and you remove and burn. You have already captured them. When you burn and destroy, it means that by the time you plant your millet, the pests will be no more. And then the last one is mulching. This is done by covering the ground with a polythene or grass. And this is able to control nematodes. Nematodes such as the earthworms, which can easily transfer diseases. And then the other points are here. Shania, you read at least the first 4. Shania, the first
Proper
4 points.
spacing.
Yes, please.
Proper spacing. This reduces the spread of pests from one plant crop to another. Using a closed season, cropping is suspended for specific period to deprive the pest of their host plant. Flooding. This suffocates the pests and kills them. Tillage. This exposes the pests to the predators and harsh climatic conditions.
All right, thank you. When you do proper spacing, spacing is simply the distance between one plant and the other. This reduces the spread of pests from one plant to another. Okay? And then the other point is using of a closed season. A closed season simply means cropping or growing crops, and then you suspend. If you have been growing groundnuts, you stop growing groundnuts for some season, for some days. When you do that, you are going to starve the pest which has been surviving on groundnuts. And hence, you have controlled the pest. Flooding. When you have your garden having maybe nuts, and you have so many pests, just pour in water. When you flood, this will suffocate the pests and it will kill them. And you have already overcome the challenge of pests. Early planting. This ensures that crops grow and mature before the destructive stage of the pest. Okay? Early planting, the crops will mature before they are destroyed. You go and harvest them before even the total population of the pests increases. And then the other last point says, timely harvesting. This prevents attack to mature crops in the field. When you harvest your crops earlier, in the right time, you don't give chances for these pests to attack them. And that is how you can control pests using culture methods. But it has its limitations or disadvantages. You read at least the first 5. Shania, read the first 5.
The measures cannot eradicate pests but keep population at optimum. The method does not have dramatic results, hence farmers are not easily convinced that it works. Requires maintenance of practices for effectiveness. Most practices are aimed at one pest, may require a lot of time and energy to apply.
Okay, that is good, thank you. The measures cannot eradicate pests. Eradicating simply means removing them. Sorry for that. The methods cannot eradicate pests. They cannot remove the pests. The methods just reduce the population, optimum number. The other limitation is the method does not have dramatic results. Farmers are not easily convinced that it works. When you tell a farmer that this method is effective compared to the other, he will tell you, wow, we have tried it out. Because the pests continue recurring. They continue coming around. If you don't weed, the pests come back. Okay, so that is a limitation. Another limitation is it requires maintenance of practices. You continue doing the practices every time. And yet some farmers don't have the money to hire people to keep weeding, to continue harvesting in time. And then the other point says, most practices are aimed at one pest. It is not versatile. It is not able to control a spectrum, a large number of pests at once. Compared to chemicals, one chemical can kill various numbers of pests. But in this method, you only target one type of pest. For example, if you have squirrels in your garden, this method, the only way you can control them is by weeding. So what if you have the armyworm or the locusts? Are you able to control them by that method? It is not proper. And then the other point says, it may require a lot of time and energy to apply because you have to be there to dig physically. And then the second last point says, it may not address the problem of pest outbreak since it is slow. If a pest manifests in your garden, you cannot control it too fast using these methods. But if you use the chemical, it is assured that you are able to control the pest population in the shortest time. And then the other point says, it is not standardized. It is not quantified. You cannot say that today I'm using 2 liters of this control measure compared to chemical. In chemical, you will be saying, I have used 300 millimeters of such and such a pesticide to control this pest. But here, there are no standards. It is not quantified. So it means that it is hard to apply. What if you have like 5 acres of land of a farm and you want to control pests? It becomes uneconomical. Is this page clear to everyone? Hello? Hello? Is the page clear to everyone? So the other method number 1 was chemical, number 2 was culture, number 3 we have physical pest control. How does the physical pest control work? It is the reduction of pest damage to agricultural produce through the use of special physical and mechanical measures. And it is the oldest and the most primitive method of pest control. Physical means of pest control are, Shania, read for us the 2. Hello, Shania, read for us the first 2 means of pest control.
Hand picking and killing. It is done with the less mobile pests that are big enough to be seen by our eyes. Construction of physical barriers like trenches to control caterpillars.
Very good. You can hand pick, you just go to your garden. You see caterpillar passing by, you pick it. Shania, could you pick it? Can you pick a caterpillar when it is moving? Shania, can you pick a caterpillar when it is in the garden? Why? Okay, and is effective for the pests which are very slow and easily seen. Construction of physical barriers, trenches like fences. A fence can be constructed around a farm to avoid intruders, the pests. And trenches can also be there such that they obstruct their movement. Just like how you see this picture. This farmer was able to pick his pests. And then another physical way of controlling pests, use of extreme conditions to kill or scare away pests. Increase the temperatures. If it is inside the store, okay? For example, if you have fish, you preserve it inside the freezer, whereby pests cannot attack them, cannot attack the feed which you have put inside there. So if you put inside the store and you also increase temperatures in the store by putting in light, you have changed everything. The conditions can easily scare away them. Use of electromagnetic waves that can kill pests. Have you ever used a mosquito net? Hello, have you ever used a mosquito racket? The one which you put in electricity? Okay. This one is just electrified. The waves alone can kill the pests. And then the other is use of irritating sound to scare away the pests. If you go to gardens, okay, you have used it, that is good. If you go to gardens where they plant rice, you find farmers standing. Once they see birds, they make a lot of noise or they clap. When they clap, the birds will fly away. So such sound can easily chase them away. Or you can use a siren. You just ring it and all the birds disappear, or the pests run away. And then we have dehydration of pests using sand, ash, and salt. Salt absorbs water out of the pests. So if you put it on this pest's body, some of them have very small cuticle. The distance between the inner part of the body and the external is very small. So it means that the ash or the salt will be able to absorb all the nutrients out of its body until dry, such as the slug. When you find a slug moving, you try it out. Put salt on it, or a snail. It will fold and it will dry after some time. What are the advantages of this method? Advantage number one, pests are destroyed completely, because once I get and I squeeze it in between my hand, it will die. And then the other advantage, it allows the farmer to assess the pest situation on crops. Because you are there physically, you are able to move around the garden to assess the pest population and the situation. You check the economic level also. And then the last bit of it, it does not pollute the environment. It leaves the environment intact. Okay, is this page clear? Hello? Since the other page was clear, you read the remaining advantages of physical method.
It cannot create resistance in pests. It is cheap where area to be covered is small. The control methods are easy to learn and use.
Okay, thank you. It cannot create resistance. There is no way a pest can be resistant to this method of pest control. When I get it and then I hit it like how this man is doing it, he saw a pest moving and then he got a cane and he caned it. Okay, that is the beauty of it. It is cheap. Where to be covered is small. If the place is very small, it is very cheap. You just get your cane, you move around with a cane in the garden, caning the pests. And then the other advantage is the control methods are easy to learn and use. Do you need to first go to somebody to teach you how to step on a pest? No. Disadvantage of this method, it may require a lot of labor for large plantations. If you have like 2 acres of land, how many people will you employ with the canes to start caning the pests? It becomes expensive. It is not effective on highly mobile pests because you cannot start grabbing birds or grasshopper when they are flying in the air. Look at a scenario of locusts. If locusts have come in thousands, is this method effective? It is not effective. But another disadvantage is it is time wasting. How much time will you spend moving around the garden looking for this pests? Okay. So that is a disadvantage of that method. So next time when we meet, we shall start with biological pest control measure. Okay. Hello. Hello, Shania. Are you there?
Yes.
Hello. Okay. So next time when we meet, we shall be talking about biological pest control measures. After that, we are going to talk about its disadvantages. And then we look at characteristics of the biological control agent. And then we look at this last method, which is integration pest method, control measure or management. It involves in all the previous control measures that we discussed about. And then from that, we shall have legal control. After legal control, we shall have to talk about diseases. Hello, Shania. Have you ever seen such diseases on the crops?
No.
Hello. You have never seen a rotten tomato?
Oh, I have.
And then maize?
No.
Have you ever seen a diseased crop?
Huh.
Hello?
Maybe one with like, yes.
Have you seen a diseased crop?
Maybe those which always have like spots on the leaves and yellow leaves.
Okay. So we are going to study all those things. Is it okay? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, we shall start from here next time. We shall start from biological pest control measures. Thank you for turning up and have a blessed evening.
Likewise.
You have this work with you? Hello?
Yes.
It's okay. I'll forward you the assignment today.
Okay.
In the WhatsApp group. Good day. Have a good evening.
Likewise.